Hey dumplings, it's Dave Decide. Today I want to get into Jimin and Jin's reaction to the military enlistment and what people have been saying. There's a new article that is resurfacing and I wanted to give my thoughts on that. I also want to get into the live meet thing that got cut off and what happened there. So hater or not, make sure you're subscribed with the notification bell on, grab your dumpling, tea-spilling mug merch, and let's get into it. The first thing that I want to talk about is a live stream or live meet thing being cut off. I'm a little torn in the middle between this one and I'll explain everything. Let me give context. So a little while ago, it was seen that Jake from Enhypen wore a Muslim or religious necklace thing on stage. This is a big deal because Jake is not believed to be Muslim, and so there were a lot of issues. BLIFT is a part of HYBE, so both HYBE and BLIFT were getting some controversy that they needed to address this moment and apologize to the Muslim community. There are certain things that you can move on or move forward from without apologizing, but maybe not this thing. And ethically, it could be a good idea to apologize to a community that is largely marginalized. It's understandable why the community would want an apology, as the community has never been treated right. Although I do believe it was a genuine mistake from the company, i.e. a stylist maybe didn't know and put it on Jake, and the company maybe was in a rush or some sort of situation and just overlooked it. In a lot of situations, you do have to place trust on your team, and in some cases, even if it's bad, you don't want to undermine the stylist. I'm not saying this is the case for this incident, I am just saying that it happens. But from what I can see, I couldn't find an apology from BLIFT. And fans were upset about this, but the incident kind of just died right there as no one is addressing it. There's people who are mad, but they don't want to get mad at Jake because ultimately he cannot control what he wears. So it was just a weird situation. While you want to tell Jake, what is he gonna do about it? But a fan actually did manage to bring this up. What I believe was a fan meet or some sort of fan video call. A lot of fan meets nowadays will be through a Zoom call or whatever, and you'll be able to meet and talk with the idol for maybe a few minutes or so, and it's very personal and nice. One fan brought up this incident and Jake seemed like he was curious to hear what the girl was talking about. And I say he seemed curious because if he knew what she was referring to, maybe he could have just answered it. Instead, he was kind of trying to hear the fan out, and it seemed like he was waiting for her to get to the question. And Jake seemed really attentive and willing to learn about what the fan was going to say. So I don't think he purposely knew wearing the necklace would offend people. Like, I believe he may have had no idea when he did it. But what ended up happening on the video call was Jake was cut off by the staff, and Jake had to ultimately say goodbye, which also shows me he really may not have known about it, because if he knew it was something this important, maybe he would have tried to keep the call a bit longer to explain. But this is just a theory, allegedly, a conspiracy, my opinion. You really can't tell much from the call. Jake was cut off, and you could hear a Korean voice saying that the time was up for this fan. But Jake was speaking with this fan in English, and the staff probably did not know English. So I don't believe it was the staff or team realizing what was being asked and then cutting the fan off like a PR thing. I think they genuinely were out of time, and the staff had no idea what was being asked, and so they just cut it off and moved on. There were also comments like, why was this girl's video call so short? But this was not the company cutting the fan off and purposely making it short because they didn't want to answer or nothing like that. Apparently, the fan had told her story online, and the story was that there was some bad internet connection, and then Jake's team had attempted to call her back multiple times, but ultimately when there was a more stable connection, the fan had a few seconds left for the meet and greet, and she couldn't get out her whole question before time was up. I feel bad for both sides. I understand both sides, and I can see how frustrating this can be. I do want to see what will happen next. I believe they'll make everything right eventually. I am grateful for these fan meets and for these moments that us fans can actually comment and ask questions to our favorite idols. I think that the FaceTime thing can be more valuable and something they should integrate in the future. We can do it in person, but having a FaceTime thing can open the opportunity to meet your favorite idol even if you're in another country. Maybe a mix. One question that is often asked to BTS, especially nowadays, is the military enlistment. When is it going to be? And are they actually all going to go? As of right now, I do believe the answer is yes. There's currently no laws that will stop them from needing to go, or at least do some sort of public service. But while people think public service is a better idea, like just working at a government office, I definitely disagree, because it is the same premise and the same idea that the members wouldn't be able to make music for 2 years because they still have to quote unquote go away for 2 years. So since they are not exempt from that, it seems like they will go as planned. But the question is when. It was reported in 2021 and 2020 the approximate time in which BTS will enlist. These articles are making their way around the internet again because a lot of them theorize that it will be before mid-2022, March, April, May, and those those months of this year. And so those months are definitely coming up, but we are having the concert within the next month or so. So I know it won't be next month at the least, unless Jin is planning on showing us those dance moves at the military camp. But the question of why are these news sites or people predicting the enlistment to be next few months, or how do they even know? People assume it's the insider people at Hype or just insider industry people. And this is not true. They're just analysts that are predicting this. Analysts work within the stock people. And Hype announced that they will take part in the Korean stock market not too long ago. And because of that, analysts now have to analyze what the best time to buy Hype stock is. But I do want to clarify, if Hype was not a company that has stock, these analysts would not make any predictions because it would be a private company. So it's no one's business when the comeback will happen. Hype being on the stock market makes them a public company, meaning information can be speculated about. So typically when BTS has a comeback or an artist has a comeback, the stock of that company will go up because people are buying the album, business is good, stock goes up. So analysts use old data and information from previous years and trends from previous years to predict what the company might do and when they'll release a comeback. So the people who buy stock can try to get ahead of that and buy stock before the comeback and before the stock goes up or whatever. So you get the stock cheap, you can sell it when it's high. The interesting thing about this is that it is almost impossible to predict. You'll never know. But it's the analyst's job to try to know. So when I see these analysts come out with a prediction like Blackpink may not have a comeback for a really long time, and then it gets trending on Twitter that YG is terrible, it bothers me that people who don't understand how the world works get a platform that allows them to trend hate towards a company to that degree. And the company themselves never said anything about the time of any comeback. But anywho, these articles are basing when BTS will enlist in the military based on the analysts' predictions, because when BTS enlists, there could be a chance there will be less comebacks and less higher stock. And I can prove these analysts aren't always correct, given that BTS is planning their Seoul concert next month and even rumors of a world tour after that and album. So it's less likely they will be enlisting right now, but likely by the end of the year. That's a prediction based on Jin's age. Just always check your sources and who is saying this information and why they are saying it. However, while I don't think they're enlisting this soon, I do think that the time will come for them, and I do want to talk about how I feel they feel about the enlistment. Jimin has spoken before that he never imagined himself not being a part of this group and leaving. He wishes to grow old with a beard and wishes that when he gets old and he can't dance anymore, to sing and perform for ARMY in other ways. This shows me that he doesn't want to imagine life without one of the members, or that he has no intention or no desire to imagine BTS to separate. This is so beautiful and emotional to hear. Jin also talked about his emotions to the military, and I'm about to tear up. He talked about how he doesn't have much to say as to whether BTS should participate as 6 when he leaves or whatnot, but no matter what happens, he will be there in the military watching them all on TV and cheering them on. While this makes me want to curl up in a ball and cry, Jin will always be by the boys' side whether he is physically there or not. ARMYs will remember him, and he is still part of Hype whether he is physically there or not. And when he comes back from the military, it's not like he won't be welcomed back into BTS. He is still able to join the members and pick up where they left off. However, then the other members have to start to go. It is a weird situation for sure. But I can imagine the military is something Jin thinks about a lot, and I am glad he spoke about this. While we may be upset or whatever you're feeling, the emotions are much higher and like 10 times for the boys themselves. So we should try to be happy, as we don't want to upset the boys more. Let me know what you think, and if you want to see more K-pop reaction videos, go to my Patreon, link below. I can't post them here due to copyright, but you can get all sorts of reaction videos and requests over there. It's a great way to support the channel even more if you would like to. Thank you so much for this lovely comment right here. I love you so much. There'll be some videos that will pop up on screen, and I will see you over there. Bye.